Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to our crosstalk. We are Studio Pararaum. My name is Linda Zhang, and I am the co-founder and principal architect of our Toronto office. I'm joined by Meng Li, the co-founder and principal of our Zurich office. We are an award-winning architecture, design, and art studio that considers our practice to be a provocation of architecture's capacity to communicate through felt experience, affect as a design process towards lived experience. I'll hand things over to Meng to introduce our topic of our presentation today.
We would like to take this opportunity to tell you the stories behind our Rockskin installation at the Seoul Biennale for Architecture and Urbanism this year. Geology has its own kind of entropy. Everything is gradually wearing down. Little by little, wind erodes the rocks and water carries away the riverbanks. In contrast to a mechanistic logic, this process is irreversible. In a sense, it continuously metamorphosizes our Earth. However, by extracting natural materials for the building of our cities, we intervene with the geological entropy in a very different way.
At the same time, there is no denying that this past year has been difficult. We have all had to adjust to new normals, and for those of us who had the privilege of working from home, the new normal of working and living in the same space. In this, we have seen an increased desire to connect with nature. We have collectively become more aware of our immediate built environment and its connectedness, or rather disconnectedness, to the natural environment.
Stones and rocks, among other resources, are carved out from Switzerland's mountainous terrains to supply the construction of thriving cities across Europe. In return, the alpine landscape is being reshaped by endless quarries. While the mining technology is advancing faster than ever, the seemingly immovable mountain formed over millions of years is undergoing a new anthropocenic geological transformation with unimaginable speed. In the 1920s, Zurich built its square of its Ingen train station using rocks from a quarry in Seville, Ticino. 30 years later, this square was renamed Ticinoplatz, paying homage to the origins of its building material. Yet, standing on top of the flat and smooth surface of Ticinoplatz, who could feel connected to the distant mountain with which the square is built and named?
Rockskin aims to respond to this human longing for natural elements without depleting the mountain. It responds also to the long-standing detachment between building and sourcing by mediating between a fragment of a mountain and a building block, exploring the space in between what is real and what is simulacra.
The process of production is always a process of removal. Every built object requires a negative space elsewhere. More than often, the perfect smoothness of industrially manufactured slab makes us forget that it's once part of a mountain rock. It is in this space of removal, our project forges a new and pathetic connection between production and resource, between the fragmented now and the geological whole.
We have developed a new design process that prioritizes geological empathy, an affective dimension of architecture. Using flexible natural rubber, we produce a rockskin formwork from the mountain surfaces. Once removed, the mountains remained untouched, while simultaneously containing traces, memories, and impressions of the mountain surfaces, sharply cut, naturally rugged, or eroded. This formwork is used to cast and shape a variety of ecological materials.
Like the photograph, rockskin captures the memory of the mountain through material. In turn, as we encounter the cast, we can still experience the reality of the mountain through its texture and form, even though the mountain isn't there directly. In a way, what rockskin casts is to mountain is as the trees are to the wind. You need the trees to hear the wind. The rockskin helps us to see the mountain. It is indirectly through the rockskin cast that the existence of the mountain can be perceived. Searching, finding, collecting, indexing, casting, and putting together our research is also an ongoing process to create atlas of specimens and memories across space and time.
In line with our goal of creating new material practices, the material we've been casting with is bioplastic, made from food waste and byproducts. Once solidified onto and then demolded from the latex skin, the resulting bioplastic cast quite literally has embedded within it the haptic and atmospheric qualities of the mountain texture, while not fully pretending to be the mountain, between real, fake, and simulacra. On screen, you can see various material experiments in bioplastic, each with their own unique characteristics, separate from the mountain. We have been also interested in how sustainably foraging colorants from the mountain sites could be embedded into this bioplastic.
A rocky landscape is shaped by natural elements such as wind and water over a very long time across the geological time span. The texture of the rock surface is a record of the ephemeral and ever-changing nature. The transitory appearance of bioplastic reminds us that the mountain is also a fragile ecosystem.
Here we see ways in which the bioplastic rock skin develops its own characteristics from the rock. The rock textures start to mediate light, privacy, and opacity. The mined caves have a double existence as a positive object and a void of what once was.
We produce rock skin to index the past. The mountains have an unimaginable scale. When you get really close to it, its form starts to disappear. It becomes formless. In turn, its texture starts to appear. We start to understand the scale and the relationship with our body.
Essentially, rock skin aims to create a space where intent and constraint, the natural and man-made, the material presence and geological memory become inseparably one and the same.
We make visible of the disappearing without damaging the existing.
Rock skin speculates on the future of cities, and in this exhibit, the future of Zurich, where the mountain has once again slowly found her place in urban life in a different and more ecological form. Through the futurity of speculative models, our project Rockskin aims to question the present moment. How do we define normativity in building practices today? What norms on sustainable design can we more critically challenge?
How could we build more ecologically? How can we reconnect to nature through the city? And here you see in the screen that where the rock skin are casted from in Switzerland of different underground mines. Actually, one is the Inge, Plattenburg. The other one is Schleipheim, a Gibbs museum.
In the following images shows various views of our final installation. Presented at the Seoul Biennale of Architecture, Rockskin simultaneously preserves the Alps while transporting the memory and experience of the Alps to Seoul. For those of you who aren't able to visit in person, we also invite you to experience these spaces through our website at rock-skin.com. Our virtual reality exhibit connects sites across Switzerland to Zurich, Seoul, and beyond. Through this process, Rockskin explores architecture's capacity to communicate through its materiality, tectonics, and work of memory, to elevate the collective consciousness around the consumption of resources and extraction processes implicit in the construction of our cities. It demonstrates how architecture can participate towards an alternative ecological future, which acknowledges and reconnects us with our disappearing geological formations, situating the design process more compassionately in between geological and man-made, city and landscape, emotive and scientific, and immaterial and technological.
And we would like to thank our collaborators and friends for their generosity and support. And we would also like to thank Seoul Biennale for your trust and appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you.